and this is a meeting of the Wooddale Community Development Commission. I'm the acting attorney for the Wooddale Community Development Commission. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Damasco.
Here.
Mr. Peterson.
Here.
Mr. Shemanek.
Here.
Mr. Vant.
Here.
Mr. Woods.
Here.
Mr. Carriage is absent, and Mr. St. Murray. We have a quorum.
There's a quorum present. Due to the absence of the chairman, the first order of business is to appoint a chairman pro tem, which means for the evening. Commissioner Dave Shemanek has graciously volunteered to act as chairman pro tem. I propose recommending a motion to appoint him as chairman pro tem for tonight's proceeding.
I'll second that.
Well, we need a motion and then a second.
I thought he made the motion.
No, he can't.
I want you to make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Will you please call the roll?
Mr. Damasco.
Yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Shemanek.
Yes.
Mr. Vant.
Yes.
And Mr. Woods.
Yes.
Okay. The motion carries, and the dais is yours.
Great. I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 17th, 2019. Can I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Very good. There be a motion, a second. All in favor by saying aye. All those opposed by stating nay. All those
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The minutes are approved. We did have two public meetings scheduled for tonight. All testimony will be given under oath at the hearing. There will be opportunity for the public to offer testimony and to comment. Following the public hearing, our deliberations will be open to the public in the sense that all are invited to listen and watch. The public, however, may not speak during our deliberations. Staff will provide a general description of the proposal, followed by their analysis. We ask that the applicant here tonight then give specific evidence to demonstrate that the proposal meets the standards of approval for the request. The burden is on the applicant to prove the case. With respect to others who wish to speak, you may give an opinion or present specific evidence as to why you believe the applicant meets or fails to meet the standards for the request. Finally, we will strictly adhere to the schedule prepared for tonight's meeting. However, those wishing to submit evidence and testimony will be afforded sufficient time within which to do so. Whether you are a member of the public wishing to make a statement for the record or a witness testifying in behalf of an applicant, you will be placed under oath and then begin by stating your name and address. You will be subject to questions by the Community Development Commission and potential cross-examination by the applicant. To allow as many people as possible to be heard, we would request that your remarks be limited to 5 minutes. If additional time is needed, the hearing will be continued until the next available hearing date. I will now call the matter before us this evening. Case numbers 2019-CDC-09 is in regards to a special use for a flooring store at 1450 North Wooddale Road. Staff, please provide a summary of the request and indicate when notice of the hearing was published and whether you have the certificate of publication from the newspaper.
Would you raise your right hand, please? State your name and address.
Gosha Pocheja, 404 Wooddale Road, Wooddale, Illinois.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you. So the petition 2019 CDC 09 was submitted by Floor Pros LLC. This is an application for a special use and major site plan review for a site at 1450 North Wooddale Road. However, the applicants have submitted a written request that they would like to seek continuation of the petition because they're not ready and able to attend tonight's meeting. And as part of the process, they have that ability to request it. So the request is for the CDC Commission to approve a motion continuing their public hearing to the next CDC meeting.
Okay, is there anything else with that?
No, and just in case I did want to clarify, all of the public hearing notices were published for today. We had a notice published in Daily Herald. There was a sign posted on the site, and property owners within 350 feet of the subject site were also notified. As part of that notice, there is a statement in there that It's possible for the applicant to seek the continuation, and we will not have to republish the notice. So anyone who is interested in following this may contact us directly to ask for the next date, or just follow our website, because the agenda will be posted online.
Okay,
Makes sense.
very good. Having received a request by the applicant to continue this matter, can I get a motion to continue this matter to the next CDC meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Very good. There be a motion and a
Sorry, who
second.
seconded it? Thank you.
There being a motion and a second, any discussion? Okay, there being no further discussion, all in favor by saying aye. All those opposed signify by stating nay. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and the public hearing as to case number 2019 CDC 09 is continued to the next CDC meeting. The next case is case number 2019 CDC 10. It's in regards to a text amendment to Chapter 17 of the Municipal Code and Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, and proposes to move the stormwater and floodplain management regulations from Chapter 17 to Chapter 10. Staff, please provide a summary of the request and indicate when notice of the hearing was published and whether you have the certificate of publication from the newspaper.
Yes.
Your right hand, please state your name and address.
Gosha Pucheha, 404 North Wooddale Road, Wooddale, Illinois.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Thank you. Yes, so the notice was published in Daily Herald on August 2nd, 2019. We do have a certificate of publication on file. This particular text amendment, and I apologize, I'm going to have to go next. The purpose of this proposed text amendment, as you outlined, is to actually move the stormwater regulations from Chapter 17, which is our UDO, Unified Development Ordinance, to Chapter 10, as they have been recently enacted with amendments and codified in Chapter 10. So a little bit of a background on this one. So the City of Wooddale has previously adopted the DuPage County Stormwater Ordinance and as a waiver community. So with that, there come certain requirements and that we have to follow. The DuPage County Stormwater Ordinance was recently updated, and our city engineers have reviewed the updates, and they have reviewed our regulations and proposed changes to our regulations. As part of the update, the floodplain maps were updated, and there was a specific requirement that required adoption by the city in a specific period of time in order for the city to be still part of the National Flood Insurance Program. So this actually was already approved by the City Council on July 18th. But as part of the amendments and the changes, it was proposed to move the stormwater and floodplain regulations from Chapter 17 to Chapter 10. And the main purpose is that it has its own designated chapter in our city code. It is still accessible, obviously, just on our website where the rest of the code is, but it also allows a little bit more ease in terms of future amendments. As of right now, it was part of the UDO, and anytime any amendment was required by the DuPage County Ordinance, it would trigger the need for a public hearing. In this case, it allows the City Council to act a little bit faster because they can consider those particular changes. Now it has its own specific chapter. It's not part of Chapter 17. Technically, for text amendments, we really do not need to adopt findings of fact. However, as part of the review, we do find that this proposal for the text amendment is consistent with the comprehensive plan and with the UDO because it addresses existing floodplain management regulations. As I said, they have been in place. They just have been updated. The main change is that they are being removed from Chapter 17 to Chapter 10. And so the city staff recommends that the CDC Commission recommends approval of the text amendment modifying the location of the stormwater and floodplain management regulations. Thank you.
Did you already mention about the publication for this?
Yes, I
Very good.
believe I did. Yes, publication is on file and it was published on August 2nd.
Okay, anything else regarding that?
No.
All right, does any member of the Community Development Commission Have any questions for staff?
Can that go back and forth? In other words, can they at one time be set up for the stormwater program and then alter it or change it later on? Or is it, once it's done, it's done?
I'm not quite sure if I follow the question. Are
It's
we
a
talking
new
about-
ordinance, correct?
It is not, it's updated.
Oh, updated.
It's just update. So our code, our regulations were updated to reflect the changes of the DuPage County Stormwater
So you're
Ordinance.
just
and
bringing it
field.
up to...
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, I guess we have to ask this. Does any member of the Community Development Commission have any questions for the applicant? Is there any member of the general public in attendance who wishes to make a comment or has a question regarding this request? If so, please stand to be placed under oath. When you guess that's a no. So, are there any other further questions or comments? No additional testimony will be admissible, and public comment cannot be provided after the public hearing is closed. Having no additional testimony, I'll now close the public hearing for case number 2019 CDC 10. We'll now proceed into the deliberation of the merits of this request. Commission members, do you have any deliberation for this? Yes, sir.
I'd like to put a motion on the table to recommend approval.
Okay, there being no further discussion,
I'll second that.
we're looking for a motion. We have one on the board, and we have a second.
Was that Mr. Peterson seconding?
Mr. Woods.
Thank you.
There being a motion to recommend approval and a second made, will the secretary please call the roll? As a reminder, a yes vote will be to recommend approval, and a no vote will be to recommend denial.
Mr. Damasco,
4.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Shemanik,
Yes.
Mr. Vant,
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
Yes.
The motion to recommend approval of the text amendment to remove the stormwater and floodplain management regulations from Chapter 17 carries. Next, is there any report from staff? Staff liaison report.
The only thing I wanted to mention, we are anticipating a special call meeting in September, which I think most of the commissioners have replied. So because there's a number of petitions coming up, we probably have at least 2 or 3 for September 16th, which is our regular CDC meeting. And then 2 weeks later, we are anticipating a special call CDC meeting for at least one petition. And then moving on, we'll see how October looks out.
You have a date on the second meeting in September?
September 30th.
September 30th,
You told me that.
yes.
Are there any other questions for staff based upon what's going on, or any follow-ups that you guys had questions on, projects or anything out there? Okay. Sounds like I will be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
No, I need a first. Oh, need a motion.
I'll make the motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Second.
There being a motion and a second, all in favor by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Say nay. Don't hear anything. Motion carries, and this meeting is adjourned. 16 minutes, that's a record. 2 public hearings, you guys.
Quicker than I got kicked out of grade school.
Wow. That was a good